Hi, it's Dave here. This is my wife, Kathy.
Hello.
This is the Cinemile, the podcast where we walk home from the movies. Today it is raining, so you might hear some pitter-patter of little raindrops on the umbrella over our head. We're going to go see a movie on this Saturday afternoon that is called Argylle, with two L's. That's not how I traditionally spell the very common name Argylle, but nonetheless, here we are. Kathy doesn't know anything about this film. She's actually given me a look as to say, what are you even talking about? Kathy, what do you know? Tell me everything. List out bullet points. What do you know about the film Argylle?
We said we're going to the cinema, and then I said I want to see American Fiction. It wasn't on in our local cinema, and then Dave said, let's go see Argylle.
And I said,
and that's what I know about Argylle.
And I think I'd rather see American Fiction.
I don't know anything about this though, so I do like to see movies I've truly never heard of.
I threw on the trailer for this a few months ago when it was released, because I like to. My trailer rule, for just a reminder for everybody, and I think this is the advised course of action
and
for trailer consumption.
Edge of their seats to hear your trailer rule.
Lean in. Here we go. So here's my rule when it comes to trailers. If I'm going to see that movie anyway, I do not watch the trailer, because you're just spoiling the movie for yourself. And then you sit there in the movie waiting for bits in the trailer that you've already seen, and you can map out the third act. And I find
that is on the presumption though that one remembers the trailer, which I often don't.
Which I do. So that's my rule. If it is a movie I have not heard of and I want to be intrigued, I will watch the trailer. As soon as I have been convinced by the trailer that is something I will watch or I'm interested in watching, I turn that trailer off.
Yeah. I get it.
It's a good test of if I get to the end of a trailer, it's usually a bad sign for my interest in a movie.
Yeah, that's true.
So I did not get to the end of the Argylle trailer. I got to a point at which it seemed kind of interesting, the premise of this, which I won't say to Kathy, where I was like, I did a little So I am quite intrigued by this. It's got Am I allowed to tell you who's in it? Because you're very funny about what is a spoiler and what isn't.
You can tell me who's in it.
You think things on the poster are a spoiler.
You can tell me who's in it.
Henry Cavill is in this with Bryce Dallas Howard and Sam Rockwell. Wow. Great cast.
Brilliant.
Can I tell you the genre of the movie? It's a spy thing. So I think all this sounds quite promising.
You had me at Henry Cavill, I'll say that much.
Now, it's directed by Matthew Vaughn, who did the Kingsman movies and Kick-Ass, and I would say has a very particular sort of style
both
and tone.
Movies that I really enjoyed at the time.
Same, yeah.
I haven't watched them since, but really enjoyed at the time.
Me neither, but I think I would describe that tone as sort of, comic book kind of things with juvenile sense of humour and ultra violence.
And very stylized, quite cool violence.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. You've
which I'm okay
sold
with.
me on this movie.
How's that? So yeah, this is kind of it. Now I'm kind of excited for it. But I did want to see American Fiction as well.
Yeah, it's not in our local cinema. It's only in a cinema like ages away, and it's not on till like 9 p.m. So we're going to go and try and see it another time, but not today.
Yeah. Here's the bad news though, Kathy.
What?
Running time for this movie is 2 hours and a half plus.
My heart's just stood still. Why have you done this to me?
It's what the people want, Kathy.
How could you?
The people want us to see Argylle with two L's.
We've had no messages usually we get people messaging us like, when are you going to see this movie? When are you going to see that movie? Which is often how I hear about movies from our listeners. No one has sent us a message about Argylle, which is why I've never heard of this.
They are knocking down the doors of our podcast.
Have you been blocking the messages?
Where is the Argylle episode?
Okay.
Well, here it is, everyone.
Well, anyway, we'll see you all in 2.5 hours' time.
See you shortly. Vaughan heads, that's what they call themselves.
Who?
The people knocking down the doors for the Argylle episode.
The Cinemile has been flooded with requests. We can't keep up with your emails, guys.
This is going to be our biggest episode of the year.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye.
I certainly hope you dance as well as you dress.
There's only one way to find out.
You and I, we're not so different. Agent Argylle.
Little help? Hold on.
The book is phenomenal, sweetie, but What happens next?
It's called a cliffhanger, Mother.
Ellie, it's called a cop-out.
Whoa, hey! There's a cat in there! Oh my god, you're Ellie friggin' Conway.
Author of Argylle series, Ellie Conway!
I am such a fan!
Oh, yeah? What is it you do?
Espionage.
Would you sign my book?
Here we go. I love this book!
Hi, we're back. We've just seen Argylle. If it's your first time at the cinema, you should know that there will be no spoilers for the movie Argylle until, of course, we turn onto Spoiler Street. At which case, every single twisty bend of the espionage spy classic Argylle shall be revealed. I hated this movie so much. I found it agonizing. It was excruciating. I was squirming in my seat. It would not end. It refused to end until this final beautiful moment where I'm able to experience fresh air, free of Argylle and its mounting plot contrivances and terrible hair and acting and writing and CG backgrounded blobs of action scenes that I want to erase from my memory.
Wow.
And twist upon twist upon twist that I saw mere hours before they occurred.
First of all, I really enjoyed this film.
How did you enjoy
Dave,
that?
Me and you were both laughing our heads off.
No,
so stop
but
this
hang on.
nonsense.
The difference is I was laughing at the movie.
I was laughing.
Were you laughing with the movie?
I was laughing both at and with it.
There are 2 points at which I thought this movie was trying to be funny and was funny. And I'll talk about them in spoilers. Every other thing I don't think was trying to be funny.
If you like, so we mentioned, what were the films we mentioned in the intro again? Kingsman and...
Yeah, Kingsman and what did he do?
Oh, the one Nicolas
The
Cage
other one. No. God, we're bad.
I thought you were talking about a Nicolas Cage movie that he directed. A funny one. At the beginning. The one with Nicolas Cage and the young girl. And they're like spies.
Oh yeah, Kick-Ass.
Yeah.
Superheroes, yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
towards the end of this film, that vibe came in. So, it's almost like the...
Oh, I don't know.
First of all, right, we're all over the place here. I had a lot of fun with it. I like silly action, and I like films with like lots of silly twists. I don't care if I guessed them early or not. I still enjoy it, and I like when people try for twists. And I think did this movie go for twists. And I love things where there's characters who are writers. I always enjoy that. I enjoyed the visuals. There's issues with the film. It's really way too long. However, I had a smile on my face for nearly the whole film, and I've come out having quite enjoyed myself.
I mean, good for you, but I'm just baffled. I don't understand. We should say, can we just take a moment for people who don't know what this is? Let's attempt to give them as much of a spoiler-free sort of plot synopsis as we can.
Struggle to.
I've seen the trailer, so I can say this is a.
You don't say anything that's not in the trailer.
What? No, I've seen the trailer. The trailer tells you that this is a story about a character named Argylle, played by Henry Cavill, who is a sort of James Bond-esque spy. But you know, it's revealed in the trailer. If you really don't want to know, then fine, skip it. Go see Argylle, I guess. Please don't go see Argylle. Anyway.
But we're going to have just played a clip from the trailer
Yeah,
anyway.
sure, exactly. So Bryce Dallas Howard plays a novelist who is the person who has come up with this character Argylle. It's revealed very early in this movie
but because I
that
didn't
it's just
know
a character.
That was really fun for me.
Yeah, and that's the bit I referenced in the intro where I was watching the trailer, and then that's revealed, and then I'm like, oh, okay, well this is kind of interesting. So it's clever, and I was like, I like Sam Rockwell, I like Bryce Dallas Howard, I like Henry Cavill. I'm in. I thought Sam Rockwell and Bryce Dallas Howard were terrible in this. Both of them. I hated every minute that I spent on screen with those two people.
But I think
they're the weaklings, Kathy. They're the fucking protagonists.
You
have to spend every minute of this movie with them.
But yes, I agree with you. I like both of those actors, and I think both woefully miscast in this film.
So miscast.
And I think neither of those actors are known for being comedic, and I think
Disagree.
they were given comedic stuff to do that they couldn't do.
I think Sam Rockwell is very comedic and often comedic, and he's doing the Sam Rockwell shtick here, which is comedic, but for whatever reason, and I don't know, is it the script or the tone or just too much Sam Rockwell, but I found him incredibly grating, like so annoying.
I think of Sam Rockwell as playing more of like a villainous character.
He does that shtick. That's his shtick. You know, Robert Downey Jr. has his shtick. This is the Sam Rockwell shtick.
We're going off on one a bit. Like, back to the film without spoilers. I think if you're in the mood for a bit of silliness, because there's plenty of silliness in this.
No.
Come on, what's that thing called?
The whirly.
The whirly-twirly thing is fun. It's so fun. I laughed every time. See, I think the film wasn't taking itself seriously, and I think you're taking it too seriously.
No, I found fine. I'll agree with you. Like, clearly, this is in a consistent tone for Matthew Vaughn, as per the other films we described. Like, it's not
as well done as those, though.
It is nowhere near as well done as those. And I don't know. And I'm trying to pick apart in my head right now why. But I think
it's the script.
I agree. It's not meant to be taken seriously. It's
I think
clearly,
the story is really good.
The story is terrible.
And I think the story is really good, and I think the dialogue is really bad. I'm saying I think the story is really good.
The story is not really good. Sorry,
okay,
please
I'm
continue.
saying what I think.
Okay, go.
Which is that I think the story is really good, and I think the dialogue's really bad.
It hurts me that you're saying this.
And I think it's too long, obviously. So it's a bit bulky.
Bulky?
There's too many twists.
This film is bursting at the seams with nonsense.
The dialogue's terrible. So this whole scenes where Sam Rockwell and Bryce Dallas Howard are talking, and I'm like squirming with embarrassment for them because they can't deliver
because
the
it's
line.
supposed to be banter. This is my point.
But
so the
let me finish.
Go on, sorry.
So I think he's a really good director, but when you think about movies like Kingsman or the other one, which once again I've forgotten the name of, they've got pretty sharp scripts. So I think that is probably the difference when we're comparing the director's films.
And from my memory, I mean, Taron Egerton and Colin Firth had quite good sort of back and forth banter, and I really think that is part of the core problem here, is that Bryce Dallas Howard and Sam Rockwell are not performing well, and they're not delivering whatever they've been told to say well.
But why? How bad is their dialogue?
Yeah, the dialogue is terrible.
Do you think other actors could have delivered against it?
No, but sorry, again, I like those two actors, I do, but I don't think either of them can. Like, I don't think they did a good job here.
Anyone could have delivered how bad some of that dialogue was.
No, sure. I mean, they were given a very difficult task, but the choices that they made, like Sam Rockwell is constantly dancing.
Yeah, that's
and it's
weird.
not in a sort of fun, quirky, charming way. It's in a like, I hate
but
you.
is that a choice he made, or is that the characters like?
I don't know.
And
someone made that choice, and it's the wrong choice.
Can we say what was fun? Bryan Cranston. He's such a superstar. He's the best thing in this film.
He is fine.
Every time he was on screen, I was happy. And I love Samuel L. Jackson in this. I love these actors that come in and just act super hammy and have loads of fun. Like, basically, my takeaway was Catherine O'Hara. My takeaway was that everyone, Dua Lipa, like, there's some cast here, but my takeaway was like everyone's having a ton of fun. I had a ton of fun. I would say I laughed. I'm not joking now when I say maybe 20 times that I laugh in this film. Like, I was properly laughing at it. And I know we went to see it in the middle of the afternoon, as we said already, so that always helps with a long film. Like, I don't know that I'd have been particularly happy to be, like,
I wanted it to end.
Sitting in the cinema at, like, 8:30 to watch this thing, because at one point I was like, oh, it must be nearly over, and I looked at my watch and realised it was half an hour left.
Kathy, there were people. I love that you had a good time.
People walked
out. Those people know what they're doing. Those are sensible people.
No,
right now, I don't understand what went through your brain for the past 2.5 hours.
Those people.
I looked at those people and I thought, I wish I could be with you right now.
Yeah, but the reason they left is because it's too long.
The reason they left is because we were 2 hours and 20 minutes into Sam Rockwell and Bryce Dallas Howard's just insufferable back and forth.
No chemistry. At one point, like, spoiler, but they kiss, and I was genuinely like, it turned my stomach a bit because I actually felt like I was watching a brother and sister kiss.
It's
like
just,
it was gross.
It's just wrong.
Yeah.
Everything in this movie,
However,
it was a misfire.
No,
Every choice they
that's not
made
true.
was wrong.
Okay, that's untrue because there's two standout scenes in this film.
Oh sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
let
and
me
I
say.
and I've
Can I
got
say
them
what they
written
are?
down. I wrote down the two. I thought there's two good
there's
scenes.
two standout scenes in this film.
Two good scenes.
We'll get to them in spoiler sheet.
And one of them's barely good.
But
anyway.
they both involve this dance move called a twirly whirly, which is the most chaotically funny thing I've
What was
seen
it?
in a
No,
long
it was
time.
the twirly whirly. It was the whirly bird. It was
Whirly
the whirly
bird. That is so funny. So for anyone who's
That's-
listening,
sorry.
what a whirly bird is a man and woman are dancing, and then, or I guess any couple, one of the couples will jump up, groin fit into the face of the other one, legs spread akimbo, and the base will spin around and around while the person on top's groin is in their face. Their legs are wide open and they're spinning around, and it's
And then
so
imagine, and then the way,
funny.
so that happens. Brilliant description, by the way, Kathy. And then that happens, and then imagine that camera trick from Titanic where Rose and Jack are also spinning each other around, and you see it each from their perspective.
Yeah.
Imagine that, but at groin level.
This is what I'm telling
And-
you. This is why I
and
think
that's
this
funny,
film
yes.
is taking the piss.
No, sure, fine. No, listen to me. That's what I'm saying. That's the film. The film is trying to be funny and have fun, but also make a cool film. That is one moment where Matthew Vaughn succeeded, where I was like, you did something kind of silly and weird, and I like
And
it,
one of
and
them's
it's
to
fun,
Leona Lewis.
and I'm laughing with you. So that is the one example where it worked. Imagine 2 hours and 20 minutes around that, where the same thing is being attempted and nothing is working.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Should we go to spoilers?
Like everything else is a complete misfire here. I found yeah, okay, fine, let's go to spoilers. I just hate when my time is wasted. Do you know what I mean?
Your time was wasted. For anyone listening right now,
My time is
We had
precious.
nothing else to do this afternoon.
Kathy, I could have been doing anything else.
We had a
I could have been-
babysitter. We have a babysitter, which is a rare thing.
Oh my God, you're right. We've paid even more money for this. This is such an
We paid.
I paid for the
We
privilege.
paid for both the film and we're paying an hourly rate to the babysitter. But I still maintain we had nothing better to see in our local cinema today.
Anything.
And I heard you laughing.
I was laughing.
I know you laughed
at
at this
it.
film.
It was so. I was laughing out of sheer surprise at how these things were happening in front of my very eyes.
It's the best Saturday I've had in ages.
Let's go to spoiler street.
best Saturday
Okay,
I've
so
had in ages.
spoilers now for the film Argylle. You have been warned not to see this movie.
They haven't
Don't
been.
see it.
They haven't been warned.
Don't see it. Just skip straight to spoilers.
No,
Like,
I say
okay.
take a Saturday afternoon, spend 50 quid on a babysitter and go nuts.
God.
Okay? We're going to take a break.
So.
you
Oh
might
yeah,
hear
sorry.
an ad
Yeah.
and then we'll be back for spoilers.
Quick break here, thank you. Okay, we're back. I've had a moment to calm down. I apologise for my outburst, and I would like to take this moment to read out some names.
Do you know how I calmed him down? I jumped him on his shoulders and I did the whirly twirly. We just spun around and now he's calmed
We
down.
stared into each other's eyes. Okay, so I'd like to just take a quick moment to say thank you to all of our patrons who support the show over at patreon.com/theCinemile, and just to shout out some of our
Can we
recent
say-
patrons.
Dave's going to shout them out, but before we shout them out, we do a lot of TV reviews over on Patreon. We are about to start reviewing. We do like spoiler episodes here and there about different shows. We're going to do one about Mr. and Mrs. Smith. The other fantastic
Oh my
spy thing
God!
that's on
we
right
saw
now.
that last night. that compared to this, I mean,
So anyway, go over to
just-
Patreon because we're going to talk about Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
that
there.
is a fantastic
the
show.
lesser of the two spy things
On
out
Prime
right now.
Video. Maya Erskine and Donald Glover, Prime Video, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. That is the spy thing that deserves your attention. Right, so a big thank you to some of our recent patrons. Well, to all of our patrons.
All
but
of our
most
patrons.
recently to new patrons, John M, Adam Bruton, Fraser Walpole, and Danielle Martin, who joined at, I think it's like 3 or 4 euro a month. It's not much. And then what do you get? You get at the minimum middle tier, you get access to monthly retro movies. We just watched Sunset Boulevard for the first time. Brilliant movie.
Great movie.
And you get access to a huge back catalogue. It's like a whole other podcast in there. So you get 50 plus retro movies. If you sign up at the first class tier, then you also get all our TV reviews. There's over 100 spoiler specials. We do a monthly roundup of all the TV we've been watching. We have done the recent True Detective episode, which is in the main feed, and we'll be closing out the final episodes of True Detective and talking about Mr. and Mrs. Smith, amongst other things. So patreon.com/the Cinemile, and thank you again to all of our patrons for keeping the show going and your continued support.
Now, can I say the things I liked about the film in spoilerific details?
Please do. Sounds like you liked everything.
As someone who didn't know.
You just loved this.
No, I still thought it was too long, but
You're
I
such
really...
an Argylle stan.
I just had such a fun time. So, I loved the opening sequence and like how lavish it was, and Henry Cavill and Dua Lipa doing the whirly twirly thingy, and everyone, like, that was so fun. The whole chase scene with them where he's on like a golf buggy going over the gaps in buildings, like, and then John Cena picking her up off the motorcycle, like, that was a brilliant opener.
Bit of crack, yeah, and all that stuff I think worked really well because it was within the contrivance of the book. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
But when that stuff bled into this sort of, quote unquote reality of the movie, it didn't, like, I felt like that should have had a different tone. Do you know what I mean? A more serious, I don't know, or whatever.
I didn't know the twist.
They had the same look and tone.
I didn't know
right?
it was a book within a book. So then when it cut out to Bryce Dallas Howard reading, I couldn't have been happier about that. Basically where the film went a little bit downhill for me was the second Sam Rockwell showed up. He's insufferable.
Which is 10 minutes into the movie,
like,
right?
And I actually really like Sam Rockwell, so I
love Sam Rockwell.
I don't know what, I just found him insufferable.
Yeah.
So every time he was on screen, it was annoying me. However, that aside, I love all the plot contrivances. I love the twist. I love that she was a spy.
Which
I love
twist?
that she's got amnesia. I love that her dad was Bryan Cranston. I know we were guessing it all and whispering it to each other. Doesn't matter. I just thought, I like when films do twisty stuff like that. I enjoy it.
But it was just a hat upon a hat upon a hat, and
Yeah.
they were hats that have been in fashion for decades.
Okay, very good. And there was another, like, by the end, like, there was too much, like, there was a point when we were just like, okay, lads, you can end it now. Like, there's a whole twist.
Yes.
There's a whole twist where this woman who we don't even remember from the opening scene died comes back, and it's like, we don't care. Like, that was just... At that point, they completely overstuffed it with characters.
And are we supposed to believe that woman has just been, like, hanging around for 5 years?
Yeah, the 5-year bit kept making no sense. Like, wait, everyone's been...
waiting for this moment. And not even that. Waiting for, like, she's on the boat with them and is watching them go through, like, she waits until the very last second minute till everyone's dead to do anything.
For anyone who didn't watch it, what it is she's like an author writing this spy book. Turns out she has amnesia. She actually is basically the spy that she's been writing.
Which
the
I think
books
you could
about
guess
Argylle.
from watching the trailer.
And then she basically kind of has been brainwashed by Bryan
Argylle.
Cranston. She thinks that he's her dad, and Kathleen O'Hara, the mom from Home Alone.
But guys, her name is Argylle.
Yeah.
Do you get it?
Yeah, I get it. So all that stuff, I agree with you, it was too much. However, the humour kept me going, and my absolute favourite sequence of the whole movie was when her and Sam Rockwell do the dance stuff, which has been annoying for the whole film, but it finally comes together and they, to a Leona Lewis song, do the whirly birdie thing. He's on her, but his groin's in her face.
And there's
They're
like
shooting
gas
everyone.
masks and colourful
It's so funny.
gas grenades.
And
that
I
was
finally-
the only scene I enjoyed in this
As
movie.
I finally stopped laughing, and then I realised, oh, no one else in the cinema was laughing.
No,
It was
they
just
were
us
leaving.
laughing.
They were. You and I were giggling to each other like school kids, because I just thought, I could not believe how bad it was that I was watching. I was so it was so stupid. But that scene, and here's the thing, okay? So I found almost every single action scene, and I think this is the way Matthew Vaughn does shoot stuff. And I don't know why it has worked previously and what's different here, but it's like Zack Snyder, but with like sugar coated. It's sugar coated Zack Snyder. So where Zack Snyder is like
colour.
dark and gritty. Yeah, he's just primary colors and like it's shot very brightly. It's always on a soundstage, but and with CG. But I just found it looked really awful for most of the movie. And I found like that opening scene you described. it made me just really appreciate Mission Impossible and Christopher McQuarrie.
I kept thinking about Mission, just particularly because Henry Cavill's in that.
Yeah, when I'm like, wow, the effort those guys go to. They shoot on location. It looks amazing. They do all these crazy stunts. It just looked like garbage. Like there's a moment where he flies over Dua Lipa. Henry Cavill's in like a golf buggy and flies over Dua Lipa in a car, and it just looked like terrible dog shit.
It did not.
CG.
Come
It
on.
did. The bit with the cat is flying through the cat.
The cat
By the
is
way, there's a
funny.
minute. Anytime anyone is holding the cat is CG. I mean, can you not afford a real fucking cat? And then the cat in this fucking bubble backpack
Hey,
the whole
mind your
time.
language. You're gonna have to put a
I'm
language
sorry. Excuse me.
warning.
I'm sorry. I mean, I just found it offensive to my eyes, all of it, until that style really worked well in that thing with all the colours and the gas grenades, because that, I don't know, lent itself very well
It
to
felt
that
very comic
CG
booky.
comic book look.
Yeah.
Whereas the rest of it, when they're on location in Greece, I'm like, you're not in Greece, so this is just another
Maybe they
soundstage.
were. I don't know.
But it
You checked
didn't
the
look like
location?
it. Well, if they were there and they shot there, they did a bad job, whoever,
know.
because it didn't look like
It was
a
weird
real
seeing
place.
John-
Everything was floaty and awful and ugly.
It was funny seeing John Cena and Dua Lipa in a scene together. And by the way, I think she's got such good screen presence and is actually a really good actress. It's funny because they're like Barbie and Ken to each other in the Barbie movie. So
Well,
I don't
oh
know
yeah,
how
they were
that
the
happened.
mermaids, right?
I don't
Is
know
it?
how that happened, that they're both together
Yeah.
in 2 movies in the space of a few months, but I enjoy that for sure. I think the stuff about, like, I think Bryce Dallas Howard, because she's playing effectively 2 different characters, her transformation, it's almost like they didn't think they'd written it well enough, or they didn't think she could act it well enough, so that they ended up just being like, look, when she gets her memory back, she's got a blonde wig on now.
I
Because
didn't
they
buy.
felt like us as the audience, they were like, they felt either the writing or the performance wasn't strong enough that like we could understand she now has her memory back without having to put a different wig on her.
I didn't think she was good as either role. I thought I hated her as Ellie Conway and I hated her as Rachel Kyle.
I liked her as both, but I just felt like the film let her down, and her lack of chemistry with Sam Rockwell let her down.
Yeah, and like what was about the bit where like suddenly it's like they expect Rachel Kyle to show up. This is the broker and you have to meet this person, but you have to look the part. And then suddenly it's like whatever, I guess they put her in a ball gown and give her blonde hair for no reason.
They gave her the
but also
cheapest
look
dress
the
I've
part.
ever seen.
But look the part. They had pictures of Rachel Kyle who had her hair just to the side.
Well, this is
it
the
was
bit
just
I
red
wanted-
hair. So it's like, firstly, why are you dressed like that? And then why, more importantly, is Sam Rockwell suddenly dressed like Argylle from the book?
Because Samuel L.
he's got the
Jackson
flat
said-
top. He's got the flat top and the bleached hair.
Because Samuel L.
Because
Jackson
what?
said you have to dress up. They put that in as a voiceover because
But
he never
why?
said it. Because they wanted them to dress up.
But to what end?
To
and it's
have
like
them
sudden,
dressed
and
up.
then poor Sam Rockwell has to sport that stupid haircut
I
for
actually
the
thought-
rest of the movie.
He looked a lot better than when I thought originally when he first came on screen that it was the MacGuber guy with the long hair. The plot point I want to bring up most of all is, so she's had amnesia for 5 years. She's lived this life as this author called Ellie, and no one in 5 years has ever approached her and been like, "Oh, hi, Rachel."
Well, she
Like,
was
she's a
she was
celebrity,
an
like-
undercover CIA operative.
Yeah, but before she became
So
some undercover
she
CIA,
would have been a ghost as Rachel. Like nobody's going to be like,
but no
"Oh,
one's a ghost,
Rachel,
though.
we
No.
had shared an apartment."
No, but Dave, no one's a ghost because she would have been in school of people. She would have been in
No,
college
but surely,
of people.
but mate, that probably wasn't her real name, right? That's probably her.
Well,
I
my
don't-
point is, but somebody would have ever been like, wait, that person's name's not Ellie, it's whatever name I once knew her as. Like, a spy can't live in plain sight then,
That's
as a
the thing.
celebrity.
That's the thing you thought was most absurd in this movie.
Within the bounds of the reality of this film, yes, that is what I found most absurd. The scene I thoroughly
Sorry,
enjoyed.
Kathy, I see no issue with the fact that two the two heads of the directorate would concoct a plot in which they're going to convince a
I
woman
love that
that
plot.
she is a waitress, play her parents in the hopes that she will of course reveal her memories through the medium of becoming a best-selling author.
No, they just wanted her to write a diary. They skipped over the fact that somehow she got an agent that got published, and
like,
people are
what?
comparing her to Le Car. And then when we hear the books being read out, we're like, these books are drivel.
That's so
I
bad.
read a lot
No,
of-
but that's a bit I
I
would
read a lot of shit,
No.
and I wouldn't read that
No,
shit.
but that is a bit which is not too far from reality, where I absolutely believed that something as badly written as Argylle would become an international bestseller.
You know the way you thought it looked
Have you
bad
ever read
and
a James
cheesy?
Patterson book?
Yes, sadly. When you thought it looked bad, I actually found it very stylish at the very beginning when the reveal happened that she was the author and he's just a book character, and she was pausing, he was stopping, there was writing coming up and down the screen. I found that very cool. I really enjoyed all that stuff.
It was alright.
Like, I thought that was very cool. Finally, the other scene that I want to mention.
Sorry, the way she writes the way she writes, like
she's like,
she was like,
Argylle,
oh,
put-"
it's time to sit down now. Turns to the cat. Now it's time to finish our masterpiece, Mr. Alfie. And then she's like, this is like a fucking 13-year-old wrote how an author would write in their ridiculous study. Turns on their Apple Mac, turns
Well, it
around,
was
finishes
made by
their
Apple.
yoga, and then goes.
Well, they kind of just
right,
make the point that
here we
she's
go,
the-
and then reads out what she's writing as she's typing,
Yeah, but-
as authors naturally would
Yeah, but
do.
they made the point that she's like a shell of herself who's been brainwashed. So, like, she's probably been
She's
brainwashed.
not a shell of herself. She's she stepped out of one like cartoon cutout character and stepped into a different one. They start Bryce Dallas Howard's character with like I just don't believe, and I know she's not supposed to be a real person, but Ellie it's just like.
But that's why there's nothing for us to grasp
ridiculous.
onto, though, because it's not a real person ever.
But then the person she turns out to be is even more ridiculous. It's just like, you're Argylle.
Yeah, but at least it was
And
fun
I'm like-
then. At
and-
the beginning, everyone was like, what I really enjoyed about the film was that everyone hated Ellie. She was such a drag. No one wanted to hang out with her because she was such a bore, what they'd kind of brainwashed her into be. My favourite reveal was when her parents were agents, her mom's accent changed, her mom tries to kill her. Like, that was all quite fun. And I know it was signposted, but I still thought it was fun.
Look, I'm really glad you had a good time, and I hope that anybody can go to the cinema and have a good time.
I just feel like
and I'm also look.
I'm
fair play-
defending this movie too much because I by no means think it's a great movie. I just had a good time.
And look, fair play to Matthew Vaughn and everybody involved because making a film is not easy. But
thing
I'm
is,
sorry,
though,
and
this
I
should have been way
just,
better.
it's just not good. It's just not good.
So you've set me into defending a movie too much that I don't even think was that good, because I want to backtrack a bit here when that I had loads of fun and I'm defending against you because I think you're gone way over the top. But I do think this film could have and should have been so much better than what it was, given the talent involved.
Yes, exactly right. That's exactly the thing. Because if this was like a bunch of people I've never heard and something on a shoestring budget, and I'm just like, and it's just dreadful. Well, I'm like, well, at least you guys had a go. You know, this is like, what happened? I'm just like shocked that all of these talented people got together and that's what came out of it.
But I think it's like they needed a script doctor, like they needed someone to come in and be like, lads, take out all these scenes and then change all this dialogue. And then I think it had a great movie in there somewhere. But that didn't come out in the end.
The tone of it is just so obnoxious as well. It's so like, we are having a ball here. Everything is fun. Aren't we having fun? Aren't you having fun,
That's not
audience?
obnoxious.
I just found it insufferable. I just didn't. It's just like it's like watching people. It was just so smug, and anyway, I'm sorry. I need to
You need
sit
to
down.
calm down. You need to do words, really.
I need to do some yoga. And I need to sit down, finish my book.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna get a nice cup of. Oh my god. Okay.
You
Anyway.
need to drink a nice glass of Pinot Noir, like Samuel L. Jackson, who lives on a beautiful vineyard.
You talk about Samuel L. Jackson, fair play to Samuel L. Jackson. He's just like, okay, you're going to shoot me in this room. I'm going to sit here. What am I doing? I'm receiving a file.
Yeah.
He's receiving a file for the third act of this movie, and he is
gives it up.
chewing the
Yeah.
scenery as he sits at his computer receiving this file. Fantastic
That's
acting.
what I mean.
He's just like, no, and then he's like, yes, hallelujah,
Like you-
100%.
like
I've
you give-
received the
you give
file.
Samuel-
Oh no,
you give
it's
Samuel L.
98% and it's paused.
You give Samuel L. Jackson and Bryan Cranston roles like this, and they will deliver, and that's what we need to see. So, thank you everyone for listening. Let us know what you thought of Argylle, if you did indeed see it, if you think Dave's completely lost the plot in acting like this about it.
I haven't lost. You're the one who's lost the plot, Kathy. Yeah, the people.
I had fun.
I've got my finger on the pulse. I challenge anybody out there to have the same opinion as Kathy. You've got to be on your own here. Surely,
I don't think
surely
so.
I'm not crazy.
I think you have completely lost it. Right. We're going to get off. We're going to turn off the recorder. Everyone come over, say hi on thecinemail@gmail.com, or listen to us on Patreon with all the extra stuff we talked about. Or most of all, we'd love if you could left us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen.
And thanks for listening.
Bye.
And I apologise. Bye.